WMC Studios in Dallas, Texas.
Turn me up.
It's the Red Boy Radio Show.
You forgot your boarding pass.
Can we all get along? Can we get along?
In the above entitled action, find the defendant Orenthal James Simpson not guilty of
The more problems we see.
Now this is a story.
You can't touch this.
Did I do that?
This is the Red Boy Radio Show. Content and conversations for the culture mixed with classics.
Hey, what's going on, my beautiful people? This is your man, Red Boy, and welcome to another edition of the award-winning Red Boy Radio Show. Content and conversations for the culture mixed with some classics, baby. Thank y'all for... Oh, somebody's music is up. Yes, thank y'all for joining me again today, fam. Once again, I don't know where you are in the world, but if you are listening to my voice, I ask you that you can only pause for the cause, take a minute and thank the Lord above for allowing you to be here for one more day. Like I always thank him for allowing me to crack this mic open just one more time and be able to speak with my people. And if you are my people and you've been riding with your voice for the past 6 years, much love to you, and it is greatly, greatly appreciated. Thank you for the love, and thank you for the support. Like always, fam, you know we got a great show lined up for you today, but before we get into it, I don't know where you are in the world, but if you're in the South, you know, people try to get around and go where the money reside. We down here in the South where the sun reside, and it is hot as hell today, y'all. I don't know what's going on, but I have officially canceled my reservations to hell. I'm telling you that right now. I ain't going to be able to deal with it. Not at all whatsoever. So I hope y'all are staying cool, fam. Drink y'all water. We got a long weekend ahead of us, of course. You know, for a long time, it was never a worldwide thing to celebrate Juneteenth. So we're going to definitely celebrate Juneteenth this weekend with everybody. And, of course, it is Father's Day. So y'all make sure y'all show the fathers a little bit of love. Give him more than that big piece of chicken that we always get every year. Don't make him work on his own damn day. You know, it's Father's Day. We still got to barbecue. We still got to do what we got to do. Take the, you know, come on now.
We want y'all to be in y'all's element.
Yeah, no, element is on that couch with the remote control on this particular day. But we know how it is. When it's the Mother's Day, y'all get it all, and that's okay. That is quite okay.
You let us touch your grill, see what happens.
Hey, look, for that day, you do what you need to do. All right, so fam, right across the table from me is my favorite retired soldier in the whole wide world. It's my girl, Anjelie, in the building. What's going on, girl?
Breathe and breathe. I'm with you on that heat.
Yeah, it's fire.
We went to a cigar
for real.
event yesterday. I was like, we got to go. It's outside. I can't do the outside.
Man, even the thought of a cigar while it's hot outside or just smoking, period, anything with fire, I'm not dealing with it. I'm going to be up under my air all day
Like
long.
I was never a soldier in my whole life.
Right.
It was too hot to be
Right.
outside.
Yeah, it's funny, you know, because everybody always say that. Oh, come on, you's a Marine. You should be in the field. No, that's probably why I got out. You know what I'm saying? I never want to be out there that long. You talking about 24/7 out there, and then you sleeping on the ground? Nah, you can have that. You can have it, definitely. All right, fam, we do have a special guest in the building with us today, family. This man is doing big things. He is a music producer. He is also a host of his own podcast called the Midweek Vibe. And amongst other things that he does here in the DFW, fam, y'all give it up for my homie, Mr. Cole Bain in the building.
What's going on? What's going on? What's going on?
Man, it's good to have you in the building, man. How you doing today?
I'm good. Good to be here.
That's good, man. Hey, we were laughing because we looked at the pictures online, and we assumed that you were me and Anjelie's height. This joker walked in, y'all, and I'm like, oh, okay. That's him. He's a little bit taller than what we expected, man.
You know, as you know, these quote unquote influencers now that, you know, Kevin Samuels put them on, whatever how they say, high value and that how they you know, a certain height. Right. You know, I do check those boxes. I am 6'4". I know in a lot of pictures, you know, it doesn't look like it until I stand up, but you know, I guess I slouch over a little bit.
Okay. And it's funny though, because some pictures you'll see somebody, you swear they tall.
I said, hey, are you on that house? He's like, yeah. I said, I thought it was you.
But now in my athletic days, a lot of people would stand next to me and be like, I didn't know you were that, you know, you were that damn tall or whatever like that. I was like, well, it's because I'm standing next to, you know, 6'9" and 7 footers.
Yeah, 7 footers. Yeah, you know. It looked different. Yeah,
look less short.
It's funny how photography works though. You can be real short or real tall. People don't never know until you see you face to face. You know
exactly.
Some of the shortest people I assume was a little bit taller until I saw him in person. So I guess
Morris Chestnut.
It's like
I saw Morris Chestnut. I said, hey,
yeah, he's a small guy too. Yeah,
it's like a game for me. Every time I see it, I'm like, how tall are they? How tall are they? Because I'm looking at movies. I'm like, okay,
yeah,
right.
They always shooting from the ground up. Yeah, he about 5'3".
That's a good way to tell it. Yeah, if they always shooting that way. So yes, fam, if you are joining us, like I said, we got a great show lined up. We're going to get to know my man Cole Bain, and of course, later on the show, family, we're going to do something that I like to do every time around this time of year. We're going to give some love to the fathers.
Let's go.
I'm jokingly going to say this right now, and we'll pick it back up later on in the show, but I did put a video out there early this week around Tuesday, and I was asking any and everybody, if you heard the sound of my voice, if in fact you had time on your hands, to go ahead and send me a DM or send me an email, and you letting me know what you think about a particular man that is a father, who's getting up every morning, holding it down, doing the best he can to be the best he can. And no one, and I'm just being honest with y'all, absolutely no one sent me a video or a heads up or a shout out or nothing. And that's okay. It just proves my point. Fathers, we don't get the same love
See what
that the mothers
was.
do. You know what I mean? It's a sadness. I'll cry in the car. But you know what I'm saying? Can we get a little bit of that? What happened with you, Anjelie? I'm going to go ahead and say it. What happened? Well, you're going to tell me a story about your father anyway, so you're good.
But
You're
I
good.
watched it, but I thought I didn't watch. I thought you were talking about a joke, but I did watch that one.
Okay,
Yeah, I did.
we appreciate it. We appreciate it. But anyway, if anybody's out there, if you in fact you are actually watching us behind the scenes right now on our YouTube and on Facebook, you feel free to leave them in the comments, and I'll try to make sure I give that special someone a shout out if again you have the time. But it's all good, family. Y'all just proved my point, and it's all right. I still love y'all, no matter what. But we'll get into that. I got a few fathers, a few men that I'm aware of that's in my life that I want to give a shout out to, and we'll do that later as well. So we'll get into it. Y'all ready?
Let's go.
All right, so Ms. Cole Bain, let the people know, man, exactly who you are and what it is you do.
I mean, the long or the short version.
Yeah.
I don't, we here for a good time, not a long time. So I am a music producer. Have been for, I'll keep it short, like about 10 to 15 years.
Okay.
Seriously, 10 to 15 years. I'm a podcast host. Have been for the, with Midweek Vibe for the last 2 years.
All right.
Previously had two other shows that I was a part of before that. But, Midweek Vibe is the one. Shameless plug if y'all want to, go to midweekvibes.com. You can catch that or on the top 7 platforms in the world, shameless.
Yeah.
But I mean, other than that, I'm a jack of all trades, I would say. I don't like to just stick to, artists or whatever like that. I really like to, score movies and TV shows, and, I do, trying to blank. No, do show openings for, different podcasts and everything else. So, I like to tackle every lane if I can. Yeah.
All right. So let me take you back, man, because I want to know how this whole thing got started. Now, I know when I was a little one, all right, Mama bought that little Casio keyboard with the orange buttons on it. What was that? A Casio? What was the number on that joker? It was a small Casio keyboard, and the drum pads were like orange. They had 4 of them on there, right?
I was poor. We had xylophone.
Oh Lord, Jesus!
I forget that. I got one even better. I beat that. So it actually started when I was about, the long version. It started when I was about 2.
Okay.
I remember pulling pots, out of the cabinets and setting them up like a drum set. And obviously beating all day, all day long, whatever. And my mom and, pops got me a little drum set, when I was little. But from there, I was always in choir, whether it was school or, or church. That they say that everybody gets their start in church.
Right, yeah.
But I was also, in the band.
Okay.
In elementary school. And then, I transferred, and I would say sports kind of took over, and obviously, couldn't really do both or whatever like that. So I chose the sports route. Went on to college and played a little professionally or whatever like that. But music was always in the background. Whether it was stand up like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, in college, like doing different things. And before I knew it, I was like, oh dang, I gotta get up in an hour. And the path that I'm on right now. Shout out to my boy Multi. I had, started making tracks or whatever, but I had basically stopped. You hit that little lull in the road, and a lot of things wasn't happening or whatnot. So I put it on the back burner. And he called me up. He was like, "Yo, I'm working on my album, working on this. Come through the studio." And he sat me down or whatever like that, and then I probably cranked out that night probably like 15 tracks.
Wow.
And from there, it was like, okay, let me get back to it. And here we are.
Wow. And so did you learn the instruments along the way as well?
Well, it's like I've been a percussionist all my life.
Okay.
Played the trumpet.
Okay.
Play piano by ear.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to ask. Out of those instruments that you actually got into, how many of them did you learn by ear? Yeah.
It was, piano by ear. I tried to learn, guitar, whatever like that, but it was like I couldn't get, the strumming of it, whatever that. So I was like, maybe I picked it up later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But a lot of people do that. A lot of producers that I've talked to in the past, though, they kind of learn everything like they want to do by ear, and then they just go with it. And that's what, no lessons, no nothing, just by sitting in front of a TV or whatever.
That's how you produce. You got to listen.
Yeah, you got to be able to hear it. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know for a lot of other ones, but I hear a lot of notes. Probably that a lot of people wouldn't, or when I'm listening to somebody's album, I like to listen to it in headphones or loud in my truck, because while you're listening to like the bass and the kick and the snare, I may hear like this one or two like strings that they put up under the bridge or whatever, and people are like, how'd you hear that? I'm like, well,
you trained your ear to do that.
Train my ear to do it. Yeah.
Yeah. You did that with like a lot of music, like when you, especially like a track that you really, really love, then you really like to sit in and try to hear everything in that.
Everything.
Yeah.
Like one of my favorite songs, not one, my favorite song of all time is Marvin Gaye, I Want You.
Okay.
And I don't know if
bad track.
And I don't know if y'all have ever, heard the studio sessions.
I heard some of his and some of Sam Cooke's.
All right.
Yeah.
So the studio session is basically, and he's the coolest cat ever. He's literally laying on the couch while the band is playing or whatever like that. He's instructing them, but he's singing every chord, every note. But I just, songs like that, I just sit up and listen to the musicianship and, whether like where the guitar comes in and that comes out and the bongos over here, and, even to, Marvin Gaye and how he's actually singing, which is uncommon. He has 3 lead tracks going all at once. Normally you have the lead track, and you have like all of the, the background vocals stacked. But he has 3 different lead vocals going at the same time, which is crazy.
Wow.
So, I sit up and, try to listen to things like that and try to pick up, things that I can incorporate in my track. So.
Wow, that's deep. Real quick, shout out to my girl, Ronnie B. She says it's the Casio MT520. She has that 49 key synthesizer on it. That's what she's talking about. Yeah. No, but I want to say too, listen, what you're saying about you getting that ear in it. I remember there was something on social media that really caught my attention, was someone that posted something about Michael Jackson. And they went over because you think sometimes when you're a kid and you're listening to Michael Jackson, you hear background singers. Rarely did he have background singers. He did everything by himself. So you actually hear the studio version where he's in studio, and it's on every track where he's got his whole harmony, whole little bit of everything. Then he puts a little beatbox in there, and everything. That was bad, man.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
And it's like, well, you're talking about Mike. One for me that she gets lost to me is Brandy. Now,
not to me, brother. Not to me.
I say like Brandy is one of the. If you want to say holy grails of voices, whenever they say, and this tripped me out, because obviously a lot of singers have auto tune, whether it's just a little hint up under.
Yeah,
they said that Brandy stacks her vocals so tight that she tricks the machine to think that she's singing auto tune sometimes.
Wow.
And I'm sitting here
I
like,
gotta go back and listen.
See, look, you see, it's always one. It's always one. It's always one. No, but I mean, but for voices like that, or like Jasmine Sullivan, or
yeah,
or like one story, I went to Anita Baker concert, and just you talking about that trained ear.
Yeah,
she's on stage with everybody, and like I hear her like yell out to the to the engineer, the sound guy. She's like, take my highs out and put them on the the background singers. Take this out or whatever, and do this. And I'm like, okay, I know if I'm listening to headphones, I can hear, but she's with all these people in here yelling and cheering and everything, all the noise.
Yeah,
she can pick up on that quickly.
Wow.
And she had to tell him a couple of times. I was like, somebody getting fired tonight. But
That's our job, that attention to detail.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Man, that's something. That's something. So I know you saying that you actually cut a couple scores for some movies. You talking about some local movies here or anything?
Yeah,
special we may know?
indie films.
Indie film. Okay.
So if you talk about Rented Love, just scored a movie. Draper, don't kill me. Talk about it right now. But Lover's Revenge, movie that we just finished. Other than that, I've done, like I said, did a couple seasons with Southern Truth.
Okay. Yeah.
And a couple other different things. But
okay.
Yeah.
So tell everybody right now what you just dropped and how that project come about.
Funny story. So I've dropped 7 beat tapes, thus far, and the one that's dropping officially tomorrow is I entitled it B8, Bible Goes West. Bible Goes West. I know we all remember that movie.
Yeah.
Like
you're talking to Anjelie now.
Never mind.
I know.
My
brother had Bible.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know who it is, the mouse.
Yeah, she
right?
put
All
the
right.
little cassette tape in him.
No, I'm talking about the
Somewhere
mouse.
over. What are we talking about?
Bible Goes West, the mouse.
Yes,
okay.
that's what I said.
All right, praise the
Wasn't
Lord.
that his song somewhere?
She got one. Yeah, well, it's close. Yeah, but I thought you finna say over the rainbow, but I got you. Okay.
Somewhere out there.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Yeah.
All right, look at you.
Hey.
And so the beat tapes actually started. So I was a producer. I say that sometimes I have the Q-Tip complex, where Q-Tip, they said they would have to literally take the recordings from him and put them out because he's such a perfectionist that they would literally sit up in his catalog forever without seeing the light of day. I was like that, until what's this, 2 years ago, so 2020, got into a car wreck, and I was sitting down with everything, and I was like, I got this gift that God gave me, don't know what I'm gonna do with it, I know my capabilities and this, that, and the third. And I was talking to my brother-in-law, and he sat up and told me, he was like, look, I'm going to tell you like this. He said, if you are who I think you are, he said, then release it to the world. He said, but if you think that this is your best, he said, then hold on to it, and here we are. Tomorrow releasing, the 8th beat tape, and each beat tape has, its own theme. So this one, Five Goes West, I'm pretty sure you can guess, this is all West Coast.
Okay.
So all my Cali folk, get your Dickies and your Chucks out, and
your
rags, and and that whole theme. I've had I've released 2 of them on Valentine's Day, and so I literally say to the fellas, here's the soundtrack. You don't have to do anything. Just get you a bottle of wine,
bam,
and let it do the trick.
Like them '90s mixtapes.
Like
like the '90s that's called Get the Draws.
Exactly.
Oh,
Exactly. But yes, this is the 8th one, and it's actually weird to me because normally, you release beat tapes or whatever. I tell artists and whoever, hey, if you want to write a song to it, put some to it or whatever like that, send it back to me. Like, let's collab, this, that, and the third. But the way, the turn that it took, I never knew that it was affecting people in that way. So I've had people, message me and say your beat tapes got me through the day. They calmed me down. I had a friend who said she works, with kids after school, and she said that she put it on and it calmed the kids down.
Oh.
Things like that. I mean, friend, she'll probably kill me if she's listening to this, but a couple of them that I released on Valentine's Day, she said that she listened to it and
she got pregnant.
not pregnant, but let's just say she had a dream that night, and had to take a shower the next morning.
Wow,
I don't want to listen to that.
That's deep. That's deep. Now, listening to your music, because you have a lot of producers out there, and you can kind of tell when they produce a particular song, right? No matter who, whatever artist they're working with, you can kind of listen and be like, okay, that's Babyface. That's Teddy.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So what would you describe your sound as? Not a particular person, but I guess does your sound unique? Like, do you have a particular style that you go after when you're doing it, or you kind of switch it up?
Now my intent sound,
Mm-hmm.
I would say it's I deal everything with soul
Okay.
or whatever. So when I'm listening to different samples, whether it's songs or sound kits and this and the other, I'm listening for more of that, more of the organ, more of the I want to say trumpets, but the rolls, the soul, and that my like the percussion of it. I can take I like to take whether it's go or regular beat, believe like different pockets. Now I've had a friend tell me that if Timbaland and Pharrell had a baby,
Okay.
that would be the lane
Okay.
that I go in. But like I said, I like to my motto with everything is I don't leave no stone unturned. So like this one, B8 is West Coast.
Mm-hmm.
All 11 tracks are West Coast. I have one that's in my phone that I haven't released yet. That's all second line
Okay.
or New Orleans bounce.
Okay.
I have like the ones, obviously we know the ones on Valentine's Day are more of your soul love songs.
Yeah.
In that range. So, but each one of them, whether like whichever lane it is, you will see like certain percussion, like that's me.
Okay. So so commonly those who are your fans that have listened to it, they can say, okay, that's cool. Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
All right, let me hit my social media real quick because I believe Ronnie had a question. Ronnie B, shout out to you. She's like Bobby Brown's favorite fan. She knows there's a backstory to that, but I won't tell everybody today. Right? She said, what advice would you give to others looking to tap into your industry, especially when it comes to scoring films?
Advice. I would say whatever lane or whatever, ideas that you have, just do it.
Yeah.
Just go for it. Don't be afraid. Buy whether, and I know in our industry a lot of people look at what you have. They may look at, okay, you don't have an MPC or you don't have this or you don't have that.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't matter. You have to start somewhere.
Yeah.
And I say like there are a lot of people with a laptop, and a little, if we say the little Casio or whatever like that.
Yeah.
But we'll crank out more hits or a better sound than a lot of these producers that are in $1 million studios. Whatever. I would say network, whether it's social media or, if you know somebody in that lane, like, just talk to people. Get to know them. You never know.
Yeah.
I wasn't intending, to score movies or this, that, and the third. It's just, Draper hit me up one day and was like, hey, we're doing this, blah, blah, blah. Do you have this? And I just so had I create every day, but I had them and it was a fit. And so just off that connection, you make, a lot of other ones. So it's just like, just like you want to make a video, a lot of people make videos and, want to go viral on social media, this and the other. It's the same effect. You have to start somewhere and keep at it. Consistency is everything.
Yeah.
That's
true. That's true. Now, when you got, of course, you're making this music, you're growing up, you're listening to all this music, you're learning how to play piano, so forth and so on. When would you say was that moment? Like someone gave you a response, or you got a particular response from either fans on social media or someone that was in your life, and you said, you know what? I'm doing exactly what I should be doing.
I would say when I started getting the responses that I was getting over the music, like from different, have friends that deal with anxiety and this and the third, and like I said, they would hit me up and be like, this calmed me down, or this got me through this morning in these meetings, or this did this, whatever that. And I was like, okay, my original intent was, obviously everybody would love to get a track to Jay-Z, would love to do this and that. Yes, I would love that, but I felt like there's a whole nother lane that my music is affecting. And so, with that, I was like, okay, I'll send music to, different people just to see their reactions or whatever, because I generally know what certain people are going to say.
Yeah.
But, others would be like, yo.
Because that's what music, to me, music makes you feel that moment in time of where you at. Like I can think of a song and I can totally remember where I was at, what I was doing. I can tell you a smell from a song that I was going through. So music makes you feel.
Yeah, it does. And, a lot of music reminds you of movies and, and the whole nine, so my goal now is just, and I think it's more of, the authentic part of it, because I don't, a lot of like, and no hating on them, but there are a lot of producers that just make beats in 20 minutes or 10 minutes or whatever like that, and just want to crank them out this and the third. I generally, I make things that feel right to me. So if I'm going through a sample, I'm doing something, and nothing against this genre, but trap music.
Okay.
For the life of me, it's the simplest track you can make. But it's the hardest to me.
Because of it being too simple?
Because like I said, I'm used to, if you want to say, the musicianship, the soul, not too fast, but okay, so a trap beat is nothing but you have a loop, you have a kick, a snare, and an 808. Sometimes a sub. It's so simplistic to me. I want to add like a keyboard. I want to add like this over here.
You want to create with it.
Yeah, it's like I want to create, Basquiat, and nothing against it, but not your daughter with the crayon, like on the wall.
Right.
So that's what I said. Like it's so simplistic. I want to create more.
And I can understand that, because that's one thing I always thought about too when I'm listening to particular music. Like Anjelie said, you can remember exactly where you were, the smell or what have you, because it has so much feel to it. So I always wonder, and maybe you can give me some insight when it comes to producing music. How do you tap into that particular feeling? Because I'm quite sure you can listen to a particular song and a beat that you did, and you kind of already know this is what this is going to make this person feel like, or they're going to feel a little bit nostalgic over here because it might have a little bit of old school soul in it, or I'm going to have them thinking about, 99 to 2000s over here with the bounce. You know what I mean? How do you tap into that? Like,
it's like literally like just sitting down. Like I have a million different loops, or, samples on that I go through, but I'll just sit there and, like I said, like I'll listen to one and it catches me and I'll listen to it over and over. And like I said, I go for that feeling, and literally, this, obviously, you bear your soul into it. But there's sometimes I'm, listening to a sample, and it will literally take me to it, like without putting drums over it, without putting, hi-hat or anything. It will literally take me to a place. I have literally, in creating, I've literally cried sometimes.
Oh, wow.
And it's because, like, maybe because I am working on, another project releasing in the fall, and so I have certain ideas in mind, or whatever, and you'll sit there and try to picture it, try to put the whole picture together. Like, Fiverr Goes West, there are a couple of them. As soon as I heard the sample, I'm like, okay, I'm not from Cali, but I've seen the movies. NWA was one of my, favorite groups growing up, and, obviously Death Row and, and all that. But some of them I can picture somebody, sea walking and, and doing the actual dance. So it's like, okay, now I need to take my time with it and bring that to life. Okay. And do it justice how they would see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
but we can feel the music, but you can see the music.
Exactly. Yeah. I can see a lot of it. And I have to look. It's something that doesn't shut off. Like we can go, like we can leave out of here right now, and they have elevator music playing or somebody playing. Like I'll hear something, and I'll immediately go to my phone and try to look it up.
Well, they say musical geniuses do that. Like that's why Michael Jackson had to take sleeping medication and Prince, because they don't sleep. They can't turn their brain off.
Can't,
because you can. It's constantly a movement in motion.
Yeah. That's deep. That's pretty deep. So if you had to sit down and think to yourself, this is the artist is a dream that I would want to work with. Who would that artist be? I don't want to put you on the spot, but give me top 3, if not 5. Top 3 or 5. If you had that opportunity, be like, yeah, this is who I want to work with. And in no particular order. So that way they don't feel bad,
Top 3 or 5 artists. I'd say one rapper. Goes by the name of Skyzoo.
Okay.
He's out of New York. I first learned about him. He was signed to Ninth Wonder in Jamla.
Okay.
Jasmine Sullivan. I mean, off top.
That's Olivia's all-time favorite.
That girl bad.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. I would actually love to do an EP or something like with 112.
Okay.
Oh man.
Just because like I said, musicianship. So it's like, those are 4 singers who I like, all of them sing lead, and well, I mean, if they're not still bickering,
right, right.
That's 3. I mean, obviously, Nas,
okay,
Jadakiss,
yeah.
I mean, of course, Jay-Z, but
yeah, that's everybody's list. That's everybody.
Yeah, those are. I mean, but. Not to slight anybody, if anybody's listening out there or whatever like that, I'll work with anybody. Yeah.
No Dre.
Dre? You talking about Dr. Dre?
Mm-hmm.
Sure, of course. I would love to sit down with, he said artist. I mean, I just consider him
as a producer.
As a producer, I would love to sit down and pick his brain and see what he's thinking in certain aspects.
Yeah, he rolls that motion.
And I was seeing, and I know you mentioned jazz and everything, and I was seeing because if you went back to the Brandy thing, because I'm going to tell you that's one of
her too,
the artists that I don't think that people truly appreciate her, because I think because we started off so young when she first came out, but as I listened to most of her CDs, especially Full Moon, that joker right there is it's one of the best albums I ever heard in my life, and not just I'm not worried about the songs and song lyrics. To listen to the harmonies and how she put the notes together. That girl crazy. She's out of this world, man. I'm serious.
It's ridiculous. And I was sitting there watching the verses, but obviously I'm looking at it from a different perspective.
Yeah.
And obviously, like, people, and I get it. People are like, Monica this, and I'm like, are y'all really listening?
Yeah.
Okay, the music is the music, but Brandy was doing runs over her runs. Live. Why? Right. And I'm sitting here like, are y'all not listening to what she's doing?
Yeah. But I'm a lyric chick. So,
you
these new songs, they got a hook, and I can't get with the hook. But I'm cool. I love me some lyrics.
Some good lyrics.
Well, you know what it is, right? It's, pre-show, like, Insight to People. Pre-show, like we were talking about, and you said that, your attention span, like 30 seconds, et cetera,
right.
So a lot of people's attention span now is not long. So,
now I can't remember the 3 lyrics that they got because it's just so short. Where I can remember a song from the 90s that had 12, long lyrics. And I can remember it all.
Yeah, and this is what I'm explaining. So everybody's attention span is so short now. They literally, the standard, it used to be 3 verses, 2 hooks, a bridge, and maybe something at the end. Now, you're lucky to get 2 verses and 2 hooks. Like the standard now is literally a 2-minute song, just strictly because like everything is so instantaneous. Yeah. Like today, probably at least 10 albums came out. Drake dropped some at midnight or whatever like that. They're and here recently, like, well, no, pretty soon you're anticipating Chris Brown, you're anticipating Beyonce. Or whatever, and like you listen to an album today, and tomorrow everybody's like, okay, now what?
Yeah.
Know what we got. Yeah.
Well, we were driving to Memphis last week, and I told Trina, I said, is this song ever going to start?
See,
the intro was 4 minutes long. I can't even think what song was. I was like, oh, turn.
So they, I'm about to say, so they give you a hook. They give you a hook or whatever that's catchy and it's over and over to hook you in. So you so you listen to it even more.
Right.
In retrospect to, we go back to my favorite song, Marvin Gaye, I Want You. There's a minute and 12 of just instrumental.
Oh yeah.
Before he even says a word.
Oh yeah, because I had it on 80s R&B, so none of them songs started right away.
No.
And I'd be like, "What song is this? It's going so long."
Yeah, but if you think about it though, that was the best back then. Growing up, I think I can appreciate how they let the song marinate.
I appreciate it, so I could go ahead and stick my cassette tape in and push record.
And that's the thing in the older days, or whatever. You hear Timbaland or Pharrell, all them talk about how they like to make music that's timeless, that's classic, that lasts or whatever. And, and other than what they're doing now.
Yeah, chicken noodle soup won't be
maybe in New York.
Yeah,
maybe New York.
Yeah.
But they back then it was twofold. They made music like that, had to make a whole album a classic.
Yeah.
Because you couldn't rewind, you couldn't skip, nothing like that. They had to play all the way through. Nowadays, you're lucky to get 4 songs out of 15, 16 that you really like.
Yeah.
And it's because like everybody skips or whatever like that. They're just trying to get these songs for streaming, or the record labels only want like these so they can make their money and go on about it.
Yeah,
that's unfortunate because that's something I definitely miss. Because even when you talk about it earlier, Anjelie, about how the music brings you back to memories. That's why I love doing the show I do, and to add that old school music in there, because you're listening to us talking, we're chit chatting about a particular topic, but I also want to take people backwards a little bit so you can kind of remember where you were. And I always try to bring a particular song that goes with our particular topic so everybody can feel like, oh, okay, yeah, I remember that. Or I was over here at this water park that day. Or I was over here, at the movies. Or we was at the skating rink this weekend.
I learned, though, when there's a good song on an album, whatever, you got to go and listen to the whole album. Because it'd be some song that they didn't put in rotation that's the fire.
Be the best
There's a
song,
Beyonce song, You Are My Rock. It
Mhm.
didn't get no airplay, whatever. That is one of my favorite songs.
Yeah.
Nobody knows what it is because you have to have listened to the album, you know.
Yeah.
And
There-
it was towards the end. Nobody listened to it. It got no radio play.
Say that. There are a lot of album cuts that you'll go through, and I mean a lot of people literally just go through and listen to what's
Right.
on the radio, this and the third. But to me, like the album cuts are better than
Yeah, Alicia Keys, that Girl on Fire. I listen. I'm like, every last one of these is fire.
Yeah.
Why they only play 2 on the radio? You know.
because those are the ones that they're pushing, or whatever that to
Yeah.
get the radio play or like to put in different avenues. But yeah, but I love to listen to mixtapes more than albums,
Okay.
because the mixtapes are where these artists. That's where you get the real artists. Not like, okay, so with the record label, these artists are the label is like, okay, no, we need this type of song, we need this type, like, no, her is an amazing artist, but on her album, I know that's not her. Like, you seem like, I look, since I got it out the mud, that's not you.
Yeah.
But I know that that's the label. Like, okay, we need this radio song, so okay, we're gonna put Quavo or whoever on it. Like, it's gonna,
Make it popular.
it's gonna do what it do. Now, Trey Songz, like people like Trey Songz, Chris Brown, whatever like that, their mixtapes from start to finish, like to me, better than the albums, because they have the creativity to do whatever they
wanna
want.
do. Yeah.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. So we're talking about that when it comes to music drops and new music, what have you, aside from you doing what you do, kind of let me know how much time do you spend just listening to just music, period. Just kind of relaxing and bringing it all in so you can kind of get a feel for whatever being put out.
How many hours in a day?
24. That's your full day?
No, like literally. Like if I'm not creating, or like taking the time, like just to watch TV or this and the third, like I'm listening to something.
Yeah.
Whether it's looking for different samples or different songs that I can sample or whatever.
Yeah.
Or like today, listen to Drake albums earlier. I'm gonna listen to the compilation album that Snoop just put out.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's like I'm constantly either downloading music, downloading samples, listening to something.
Yeah.
Trying to catch an idea spark. Now our team literally like says like, no, you need a break. Like, take a break. Like, I have a homegirl who told me after the 6 Bain tape, she was like, because I was already, it's like, okay, I put that out. Now I have something like, I'm already on to the next one. Like, I got something I need to put out in the fall, this and the third. She was like, take a break and really like, pay attention to what you're doing. She was like, not everybody, has the opportunity to put, music out that's on all streaming platforms, around the world that, people listen to. Take a second to, to understand, like to take that in and understand, and then you can, and I'll be like, okay, I can, I'm like, all right, I'm not gonna do nothing this month.
Okay.
And then a week later,
If that's your passion, though, that is a break.
Yeah,
I mean, you doing it every day. That's your break. That's your peace time. So.
I'm about to say my break is when I'm sitting there and they call it, I mean, writer's block, creative block or whatever. Like there are some days I'll sit there and there's nothing coming out.
Oh, okay.
So I'll shut everything down. I'll go watch a movie or something, and then come back, and then it's there. I crank out. So
yeah. What, do you ever switch genres? Like you ever kind of throw in a little country or rock or whatever just to see if they got something that might pique your interest?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, you do it all. Okay, cool.
Yeah. No. Matter of fact, I just because shout out to Draper, on our podcast, he got me into. We have a segment called Lyric Lounge where. Now I literally get my response in bars or whatever. So I'm transitioning over to the artistry side.
Okay.
And so there's a rock song that I sampled recently and made a song to. So whether I country, rock, pop, whatever it is, like if I can catch a little pocket in there, inspiration, I'll attack it.
That's what's up, man. That's like I said, it takes the genius to do all that. I just
But
like you said, people's attention span is short sometimes. Maybe
it is.
Mine's so
and
short,
and
it don't
even
make sense.
we're talking about the actual listeners, but sometimes it's again, like you said, I'm not trying to hate, but then I wonder about the producer that's putting the trap out there. How's their attention span too? You know what I mean? Because that's why they come out so
that's their
short.
job. That's their passion, so they hear it different than we do.
But I just wish, like we said earlier, I wish it would have had time to marinate a little bit.
Yeah.
Get more to the music side of it, because lyrics are going to carry you so far.
Yeah.
I think for me, like I said, it's more so of music, because even being young, I would hear a song, right? And I might like the beat. But until I see the video and then move to the beat, now I'm in love with the song. So I liked it at first, but then I get in love with it when I see the visuals. Because now I see how they feel, how they dance, and how they move to that particular beat. And that's how I kind of fell in love with them. So that would have made me go in that. Back then we used to go get singles.
Oh,
Can't do that no more. Yeah, we go get them singles, you know what I mean? Yeah, everybody had a big old CD booklet.
I went to Egypt and traded a Michael Jackson single for an Ivory cane.
Wow.
Billie Jean.
Billie Jean.
I got a
and
whole
they gave you
Ivory cane.
That's love.
Wow. Yeah.
That's love.
Yeah.
Wow. All right, so Cole, before we actually switch lanes and get into our topic of the day, man, just go ahead and let everybody know about the Midweek Vibe.
All right, so Midweek Vibe is a podcast that I host along with my partner Draper Winston. And just to briefly describe it, our motto is "No Stone Unturned."
Okay.
We talk about anything up under the sun, from politics to current events to sports to everything else, but we give everything in a comedic fashion. We have certain segments, like I mentioned, Lyric Lounge, where Draper gets to pick any song, any genre, whether it's pop, country, opera, whatever it is, but he has to say the lyrics in a theatrical voice. So he said it in Terrence Howard. He's done Where the Money Resides. He's done Kamala Harris, like everything else. But the caveat of it is, I have to give the response or my interpretation of the lyrics and what he's doing.
Okay.
And like I said, it started out just me giving a funny story or interpretation, but our Christmas episode, last year, I did a nursery rhyme. And so he was like, no, he said, from here on out, you have to give it in bars. So now it's I'm rapping the response, but the trick of it is I have no clue what he's going to say, what song or any of that.
Okay.
So it's really and he doesn't know what I'm gonna say or what, but we have a couple of other different segments, but for an hour and a half it's just us giving you, if you want to say, a hood or a different perspective on a lot of different topics in a comedic aspect.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah, you gotta have a quick mindset to be fly like that.
Yeah.
Oh no, you do.
Yeah,
you do.
Most definitely.
And it sounds like fun too. Yeah.
Yeah, it does. And
because I'd be like,
and I mean, it's how the game goes. Sometimes I tell them, after the show, I'd be like, yo, I just didn't have it today, or certain things wasn't coming quickly or whatever. But then there are other days where he's like, dude, I'm like, well, I was just in that mode, and the lyrics and entendres just came out.
And y'all grew up together, because me and Trina got that thing going on. I can finish her sentence, and I know what she's about to say, and we'll start laughing before we finish the joke.
Because you know what's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's certain topics that we go through. So I have a segment called I call it the Midweek Minute.
Okay.
Where I literally find the craziest stories craziest stories in the world. And like it'll be a certain aspect, and like I said, I'll say a joke, and then he'll come on top of it, and we back to back for at least like 15 minutes, and like we're literally crying, laughing with that. But yeah, that is that, you know, that connection.
Yeah, and tell everybody know when they can hear the Midweek Vibe, and when they can view it as well. So
we air every Wednesday at 6:30 Central Standard Time. We go live on Facebook Live.
Okay.
So if you go to Facebook, it's 2 words, Midweek Vibe. Or, you know, if you want to catch the replays of the, you know, the previous, you know, 113 episodes. I always like to do shameless plugs.
Hey, it is what it is.
Sell it.
You can catch you can catch us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, YouTube, Audible, Google. I'm missing one. Did I say iHeartRadio? There you go. All right. You can catch us on all of them or whatever. So we like whatever you're on, you can catch us.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah.
That's what's up. Yeah.
And then go to like midweekvibes.com. That's with an S. Midweekvibes.com.
Well, where Vibe going west? Where are we going to get that at?
Oh, you can get that on
iTunes,
like Apple, Tidal,
okay,
Spotify. It's on YouTube.
All right.
So we search. So what they search for to find it, so that make sure they get the purchase.
You can just put in Cole Bain and put space, and then put in B8.
B8. Yeah. So Cole Bain B8.
Yeah, matter of fact, on those platforms, you put in Cole Bain,
and
all of my beat tapes should come up.
Okay.
I was just specifically talking about, like, you know, if you want to use like my music, you know, for your stories and anything else on IG, whatever like that, they're on there too.
Cool.
So IG and TikTok. So
that's what's up. I love that, man. I love. Thanks for that insight, man. Especially when like I said, I love speaking to people like your artists like yourself that's you know, they have to use their brain every single day of the week and a time just to get that right sound, that right, you know, cymbal, and flute, piano, whatever, just to make that beat work for you. You know what I mean? And then you know that when you give it out and you put it out into the world, they're gonna love it as much as you did when you put it out there. You know?
Yeah, and I'll say this too. Like, you know, obviously everybody loves social media, whatever that, but don't be fooled by some of the stuff on social media.
Yeah,
a studio session is not like, hey, just walking in and you thumb up a beat like real quick, and sometimes it's just sitting there and thumbing through 30 to 50 different hi-hat sounds, or you know, like 30 to 50 different, you know, kicks, trying to get that right, you know, right sound or whatever. Or it may be doing something, you scratch that and you figure out something else. So it's a whole process.
Wow, take up a whole dang memory card. just
my part. Yeah.
I gotcha. Yeah. Well, definitely, man. I thank you for coming through, man, and giving us that information, man. We're gonna go ahead and move forward, fam. Our special guest Cole is gonna stick with us, and we're gonna talk about, since it is Father's Day weekend, we're going to talk about these fathers. I want to make sure that since the women always get their flowers, which is well deserved. Now, don't get me wrong, it's well deserved, because
don't do the violin.
You know, none of us would be here without a woman. So I'm gonna give that love. But damn it, when it's our turn, it's our turn.
We wouldn't be here without a man. So
that is correct.
I guess that's correct as well. You know,
I'm glad somebody said.
Yeah, you said, and you said it out loud too. This is gonna be, you know, there's gonna be archived, right? So your girlfriends.
I'm cool. I love me some men. So
time stamp that.
Right. Exactly. All right, so fam, y'all keep it locked. If you listen to us on social media, y'all know how this works, fam. We're gonna take a quick break and may go silent on your end, but stand by. We're gonna come back and y'all gonna hear us talk about the beautiful fathers, beautiful black queens queens. I'm saying queens. I'm talking about us kings. Let me switch that back, since I said the word beautiful. I'm so used to saying that about y'all.
Handsome.
Now it's our turn again. Giving love to my strong kings out there. And if you're watching me on social media, if you have some feedback, please bring it. But y'all keep it locked right here. We're going to get into some BMU. You remember BMU?
No.
Black Men United.
Oh.
That's my favorite father song, because all the women, they got all the mamas and mama this, mama that, the soul food. Papa was a Rolling Stone. That's it. So we got to find something to get some motivation. Okay? Family, y'all keep it locked right here. It's the Red Boy Radio Show. Let's go.
Let's go.
Okay. Content and conversations for the culture. Mixed with classics. On TRBRS.
Who you know do it better? Listen. Yeah.
We have officially entered the zone.
Coming out your stereo.
Redz Zone.
Right, family, we are back. This is the Red Boy Radio Show. I am your host, Red Boy. Right about now, family, we're going to get into our Redz Zone topic of the day. And today we're going to hand out some flowers to the fellas. So today's topic is going to be Papa's got a brand new brag. You hear me? That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to brag on some good fellas today, and I want y'all to do the same. If you know that you have a special man that you know, he gets up every day and does the best he can to be the best man he can. He goes hard for his family, as tough as it is in today's world. Show him some love and give him some flowers. Not literally, because we don't like the whole vase and all that. I'm just talking my conversation piece. Give him his flowers and show him some love. So we're going to talk to everybody, myself, okay, Anjelie Cole. We're going to just kind of speak on either our fathers or some other fathers as well, and we're going to show them some love. So, Anjelie, since you're the lady in here, and we need to hear from you first anyway, to give us that shine, go ahead, give us a little story or something, or what it is that you feel about your father this Father's Day.
All right, we're going to talk about my daddy, but real quick.
Yeah.
My brother, my battle's here, and
okay.
He's one of the greatest dads I know, and he don't want me to, he's
Get
off
him.
camera. Y'all
Get him
can't
anyway.
see him. But Rodney is an awesome dad, and I
Yeah.
know he don't think I know he is, but I know that you're a good dad, and I applaud you but most of my male friends that I know, like I don't have the story where I know deadbeat dads. I just don't. I mean, maybe it's the circle I travel in, but the guys I know, they've got custody of their kids. They doing the thing. I mean, I know more men, which I didn't think this was possible, but women who have walked out on their kids and the daddies have stepped up into the role.
wow.
And I know a lot of those.
Yeah.
And it's amazing to me. My dad, I love my daddy. He was the strictest, meanest daddy growing up. But as I grown up, I realized my daddy was there day and night. He might not have told me he loved me, but there was food on the table. I had one of the greatest dads. Super intelligent. Grew up in the 40s and 50s in the projects in Chicago, Section 8. Daddies weren't allowed in the house. If you were going to get Section 8, you couldn't have daddies in the house. So my daddy grew up in Chicago, and he didn't have a dad. And because he didn't have a dad, he said he was going to always be 110% because he didn't have that. So he knew what it was like to, not to have a dad. My dad speaks over 5 languages. He was in the military, educated, went to Chaminade in Hawaii. It's a college in Hawaii. I just don't have enough to say about my daddy. He taught us to play chess. He played badminton, tennis. He was always there. Read me a golden book. I don't know how many daddies know. You know what a golden book is?
I have no idea what a golden book
Every
is.
night I got a golden book. That was the Saggy Baggy Elephant, the Red Rooster. It's a series of books.
You said
the little golden
does it have
books.
the gold trim on the
Yes,
okay,
it has the gold trim. I got
you.
one of those no matter how tired he was.
Yeah.
And my daddy was a military man. So sometimes he didn't get home till 8 or 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
And he made sure that, I got a book every night. And I was daddy's girl. So I have nothing but good stuff to say about my dad. Now, I got some butt whoopings.
Yeah.
And there was some discipline. But as an adult, I love that discipline and that butt whooping. I can say that out of my friends, my close friends when I was little, I think it was about 10 of us, there was only 2 dads on the block. And so my girlfriends loved coming over and listening to my dad. My dad gonna come over. You gonna come over to the house. He gonna say one sentence in 4 different languages just because.
Yeah.
And I would roll my eyes and this and that. But I'm so excited as an adult to tell these stories because there weren't any daddies around. So my daddy was everybody's daddy. And my dad was kind and compassionate. We grew up in Nashville, Tennessee, a very racist area. One of my best friends was white. Jennifer, I don't know if you're listening or not. I thought the cutest thing was she came to the house, and my dad is very dark-skinned. And she came to the house, and she said, Mr. Barton, can I ask you a question? He was like, yeah, sure. And she said, well, why is the bottom of your hand the same color as my hand, but the top of your hand is dark? And I was like, oh, she going to get this man started. And he knew she was a child. We must have been 8 or 9. He said, because that's the way God made me. So those questions didn't affect my dad like that, you know. So they could come over and ask my dad, is Angie's mom putting chicken grease in her hair, and he was like, where another dad would get mad. My dad was so understanding because you realize that was taught. That wasn't something learned. That was something somebody had told her in her household, and he loved dispelling, myths like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I had an unusual. I'm mixed race, so we grew up in Hawaii. My mother's Asian, and I remember she used to like to climb coconut trees to get coconut. And so she'd say, be on the lookout for your dad, because he didn't like that. He was like, I can't have my wife climbing up no coconut tree. So I was supposed to be on the lookout, but I would get distracted real easy. And I'd be playing, and my dad would come up and say, what you doing? I'd be like, playing. And he'd be like, where's your mama? She's up a coconut tree, climbing up a coconut tree. She come down yelling, why you do? Oh, I forgot.
But literally, I mean, technically, you didn't say nothing.
Yeah.
Right.
You just looked.
Well, I was supposed to tell her he ain't come, but I would forget. Yeah, I would forget. But I had the best childhood with my dad. Like I said, from one thing he wouldn't do, because he was a military man, we used to beg to go camping. He was like, that's not happening.
Okay.
He was not gonna go camping.
Like I said at the beginning of the show, I'm like, tired of the field real quick.
Yeah.
You spend a couple nights outside
He wasn't
playing
gonna
fake
go
war.
camping.
Yeah.
But and I think my mama gave him his flowers. Dinner was on the table every day at 4:30.
Okay.
My mom, maybe because she was Asian, she loved serving my dad. So, coming home, food on the table. We had his favorite foods, which I thought was just nasty: cream corn, lima beans, and liver. I'm like, can I just go on and get the belt?
Yeah, the
Yeah, I
liver.
skipped
the
that
liver.
one.
The
Yeah,
liver I
I'm gonna
skipped
get
for
the
sure.
belt.
Yeah.
But he had his favorite foods: pork and beans and hamburgers, and we ate, and he got served first,
Yeah.
and
There
we
you go.
sat down, and we was gonna eat whatever was put in front of us, because my daddy, he worked hard all day for that food, so we had to eat it whether you liked it or not.
Yeah. That's a wonderful thing you said. That's why I love calling this topic Papa's Got a Brand New Brag. Because something you said at the beginning of your comment, you was basically saying that throughout your life you don't know that experience of deadbeat.
Oh yeah, no.
Which is why I love this, because we're changing the narrative. My
Yeah.
goal
Yeah.
is to actually change the narrative of the whole deadbeat thing, because us fathers, we already got it rough enough.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So it's hard on us, but we still don't
And like I
quit.
said,
We
maybe
still
my
keep moving.
circle is different, but
It's a
there's
blessing to have
not
a
no
circle
dirt
that way.
deadbeats
good.
in there. I have amazing frat brothers. Jay Cassius, I don't know if he's watching this or not. I mean, he's got custody of all his kids.
Yeah.
And I can name about 10 of them that
Yeah.
have custody, which to me as a mother, ain't no way I'm leaving my kids.
Right.
It just ain't no way. But I
Yeah.
know a lot of men who have raised and have custody of their kids, which, like I said, I can sit at the round table with my girlfriends, and I can male bash, because my baby daddies are definitely deadbeats. Definitely. It skipped a generation with mine.
We ain't going there.
No, we ain't going there.
It's
But-
the flower time. We
But
gonna
you
give it
know,
to the
my
good one, yeah.
circle is not their circle. Like
Yeah,
they know
yeah.
a lot of them, and
Yeah.
I know, maybe because I know a lot of military men. That may be it.
That
Because
could be.
my military men, they take care of their kids. I don't know. Maybe
Yeah.
because they're used to being gone, and so when you come home, it's a celebration with your kids and stuff, or
Yeah.
you miss your kids. It's a whole different.
Different vibe.
Yeah.
I got you. Cole, what you got, man?
Oh man, I mean, just like she said, I don't know deadbeats
Yeah.
either. Like all of my and I tell them all the time. All of my partners, are amazing fathers. Like they're always there, day and night. And I'm the soundboard. So they vent to me sometimes. Like, man, it's hard. This and I'm like, look, keep doing what you're doing. Like your kids appreciate you. They this, they that. You
Yeah.
know, they trust me when they get older. Just like me getting older, like I, obviously, growing up as a kid, your parents are strict with you and they tell you certain things. And, like I said, I was a little different, with sports, whatever. So I was always on the go in certain lights.
Mhm.
And so like I wouldn't understand why I couldn't go to this party or why I couldn't, do
Oh, yeah.
this or why I couldn't
Not
go
till
to
you
this
got
and the
grown.
third.
Yeah.
But when, as I got older, I started to understand a lot of different things.
yeah,
And
most
even getting older, like really figuring out or knowing who my father was,
Mm-hmm.
ironically, off of my mannerisms or the things that I would do. Because we would sit around and, Thanksgiving and eat, and my brother pointed this out, and he'd always like to joke or whatever, but sitting down and me and my dad sitting next to each other, our arms are folded,
Mm-hmm.
our feet are folded at the ankles, whatever at that, right leg rocking, and he was like, "Oh, y'all twins today?" And I mean, I am named after my dad, but look over and I'm, I quickly but understanding who he was by his old coaches coming in, you just start to look at things totally different.
Yeah.
So understanding how he was there and my stepfather was there, or the different coaches, in your life, or even looking at like I said, my friends now. I have a friend who the mother left his son at the hospital, at birth.
Wow.
And without question, he went and got him. And I saw he was us growing up younger, trying to find our way. But yet he has his little son in there and never skipped a beat, never complained, this and the other. And I know we giving flowers with that. I'm not trying to not trying to bash women.
No. Yeah.
Don't get child support.
Huh? Don't get child support.
Yeah.
Or
the guys I know, they don't get child support.
Don't get child support, and you in some cases you have this vindictive baby mama over here trying to keep the kids away. And I see ladies, I wish you can see how it kills some of these men that they can't see their kids.
Yeah.
Because of you not understanding that just because y'all's relationship is over, it's not the end of the world. The kid is the most thing important and all of that. So
hurt people.
They
That's
do.
all I'm gonna say.
They do.
People will
You
hurt
have kids?
people.
No, I don't.
Not yet.
I got two goddaughters though.
Okay.
Shout out to them. Hey.
Yeah.
It's important. Godfathers are important.
I
If
know.
I tell
Yeah.
you, my village, boy, if it wasn't for my village, I'd
Yeah.
be locked up.
So look, shout out to all the dads, out there. Hopefully, I said this pre-show, but
yeah,
hopefully, y'all get a actual gift this year.
Right.
And not like I said, not that raggedy tie from JCPenney. Don't get the tool, ladies. Don't get the tool set and gift one tool a year. Just because you trying to save money or whatever. Yes, yes, they like the cards, or
right.
they don't.
See, y'all men need to do like us women, because we'll tell you this is what we want for Mother's Day.
See, well, here's the difference. I'm gonna say this from my point of perspective, because we're joking now, right?
Yeah.
But honestly, from my perspective, and I guess I'm a little different because, and again, I'm gonna go to where Cole. I'm not bashing anybody. My story is my story.
That's your experience,
it's my
right?
truth.
Yeah.
So I didn't really have my father around. So I know him, but he was never around. So now being a father and watching Ray J just flourish and grow into a young man, and like you said, mannerism, he try to act just like me all the time. I don't need that gift, because my gift is sitting upstairs in the bedroom. You know what I mean? So I never look for the ties or the gift cards or whatever. You know what I mean? Just that presence of knowing today I get to wake up and spend time with him, I'm good. So I know society has conditioned us to wait for this particular day to get that special love, just like Mother's Day. If I don't show you the other days of the year,
that's what I was telling Cole Bain. I didn't never need a gift.
Yeah.
I mean, my gift was watching my son walk off into the military, knowing he wasn't dead, locked up. He wasn't, that was my gift right there. People like, you gonna cry when he leave. No, I ain't.
Yeah. Made you feel good.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you are gonna give a gift, give a little bit more thought.
Right.
Y'all need to say like we do. I'm telling you, us women will say, "Hey, we want that Chloe perfume, or we want that Tiffany bracelet." Y'all better start saying what you want.
What they do say it.
Or you gonna get a tie or some suspenders.
What they do say it.
Because they make them cute gift boxes. Really cute.
They do say it. I don't want to barbecue for the whole family on the day they're supposed to be celebrating
I shouldn't
me.
Be cooking.
I shouldn't be cooking.
I shouldn't be out there.
You shouldn't, but.
And
we're not gonna bash, but us women will cook when we see
and
it.
I'm not saying you gotta cook, right? But we can order in.
Go to a restaurant like y'all, y'all like to.
Yeah, go to a buffet or something. We good at breakfast. You know what I mean? I'll take some breakfast.
Good men though are usually surrounded by good women.
Right. True.
And good women are gonna take care of you.
You would hope so.
Yeah.
You would hope.
Yeah.
I don't know any women that have good men that don't,
right?
Or they wouldn't be around.
True that.
They wouldn't be around.
I gave that. I'm gonna give a shout out to a couple of men I know out there, and then before we get out of here, I'll read a particular message that was sent to me. Of course, no matter what, and you just said it. I got a good woman, so she made sure she sent a message to myself and her dad. But we'll get to that one later. But I'll give a shout out to a couple people real quick. I got to give a shout out to my brother Nick. He's got 3 beautiful girls, and I pray for him every day. and all of them just graduated
And they're
high school.
gorgeous.
And all of them
Yeah,
are
he
pretty.
got a
I don't know
shotgun
how
ready.
he made it, but he made it. Because it's gotta be tough. But if you look at him and the dynamic that he has with his daughters, it's like because Nick, he grew up and he's very much in love with video games. So he has his own Twitch account and the whole nine, and he does a streaming. He got a streaming channel. And now his daughters do it with him. And that's their particular bond. So they spend nights on end doing that with one another, just laughing and have a good time. And no matter what, that is their bond. And you see it and you just fall in love with it because now because they say that when women grow up, and they find that man, they're gonna marry their daddy, and then vice versa. The men will marry their mother. So seeing that and seeing that dynamic, you know that those girls are gonna be okay. Because even the way that I see Nick treat them, they're going to know ain't no man finna disrespect me like that because this is how my dad treats me. We have a good time together.
That's why I'm
we
sitting at the other end of this
you know
table single right now. Because if you can't do what my daddy did,
you can't have it.
I'm conditioned. I'm conditioned.
So salute to my brother Nick. And he, of course, online he goes by Proper Nick and on his channel. Also want to send some love to my other brother, David. Now, when I'm saying these my brothers, because I know y'all who know me, these are my brothers in love. We all grew up together, so we're not blood related, but we're love related. Okay, so shout out to my brother David, doing his thing too. He's been through some trials, not only with his kids, but also his wife as well. She survived 2 brain aneurysms. And I know that took a toll on him, a very big toll. But if you see him now, and because she's okay, she survived, and of course I love being around her because you can't tell her nothing now. She done been saved twice. Look, she gonna live it up. We always talk about live it to the fullest. That's what she is right now. So to watch him be in that same space, knowing that all of that was almost destroyed, and how he could still stand up like a man and do what he can for his family and so forth and so on. It's a beautiful thing to watch, and what you would want to emulate as you get older. So shout out to him as well. I got 2 more real quick. Sorry, because I got a few men in my life that I look up to, but these 2 are very, and I don't mean to leave anybody out because I got plenty.
Oh yeah.
So I'll shout out to all of them.
My whole circle. I'm sorry, I ain't name no names, but
go ahead.
I'm just naming. Yeah. So my grandfather, he's passed now, but I will say, growing up, because of my situation, being technically fatherless. Again, no hatred toward my dad, love him. But again, that's just my story. But going in a space of being around my grandfather, he allowed me to see what a man really was. Like, took care of my grandmother, didn't take no mess behind my grandmother, nothing whatsoever. I remember he left me and my brother stranded one time. We were getting ready to go to Louisiana, and we were happy because we lived with my father for a while, and we got to love Baton Rouge, Louisiana for a while. So we had left and we came back, and we were getting ready to go again. And my grandfather said, "Okay, I'm gonna take y'all down there with me." We was like, "All right, cool." We was ready already. We couldn't wait. We was gonna see some old friends. We all excited and everything else. And out the clear blue, this man walks upstairs and he's like, "Twins, let me talk to y'all real quick." I was like, "All right, Papa, what's up?" Look here, man. And he just said it straight up. He said, "There's years ago when I came to pick y'all up from Oklahoma to bring y'all down here, I was away from my wife," talking about my grandmother. "I was away from my wife for 2 days. And I promised her I'll never be away from her ever again that long. So if I take y'all to Louisiana, I'm breaking my promise. So y'all got to stay here. See y'all later."
Well, damn.
Because
well,
and what can you do?
Can't do
What can
nothing.
you do but respect it? Because now he's talking about my grandma too,
Right.
But that was the love, and before he passed, they were married for 62 years. You know what I mean? But he not only that, but he worked hard all the time for his kids, and the way he loved on my grandma. That taught me what a real man was. So I appreciate him, and I dedicate me being a father to him first, and then secondly, I would have to give a huge shout out to my his son, my Uncle Creighton. My Uncle Creighton is my uncle, of course, but he's always been there, even since we were little kids. If you tell him you got something going on, this gentleman doesn't ride. He doesn't mind driving. As far, I live in Louisiana. It takes about 10 hours. Well, it used to be take about, 10, 12 hours to get to Oklahoma. It takes about, I guess, 6 hours now to get to Baton Rouge from here. But whether it's a graduation, it's a wedding, it's a whatever. When it's something huge going on, you let him know. He gonna get in the car and he gonna come see you. And of course, him the same way, the way he raised his boys. You watch the relationship the way my cousins, his boys have with him. it's a beautiful thing. So now I actually piggybacked off of him because I watched how him and his sons react. So now I have that particular relationship with my son, meaning he still knows I'm dad, but we can also be cool.
Yeah.
Now I'm not his friend, right? But we are cool. So when I walk in the house, like he can say, "Hey, what's up, Red boy?" It don't hurt my feelings. It don't bother me because I know that's what he sees. That's what he's in love with. Yes, I'm his dad. He knows when I put my foot down, oh, it's on. But at the same time, he also knows that he can relax a little bit. And I want it that way because if
you want him to be able to tell you stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And there you go. I want him to be not fearful enough to it. If something happens to me, I want to be able to go to my daddy and I want to tell him.
There you go.
We can sit down and have a conversation.
Let his
about
hero
what's
be
real.
in the house.
There you
Exactly.
go. There you go. And that's what I took away from Uncle Creighton. So being what y'all said too earlier, and I'll get handed back to y'all before I get to my wife. But that is one thing that I really enjoy so much about being that. I enjoy that, and I take on that responsibility of being a father, and I don't want to fail. You know what I mean? Because it's important to me. Like you said earlier, you don't see my vision does not allow me to see how you could ever leave or want to leave and not be around your child. That's you. Yeah. That's your legacy.
Exactly.
You know, and I didn't even know women did that.
It's confusing. Men and women. I mean, men do it too most of the time because that's the narrative. When you watch TV, the narrative is father's not always there. And I can never, and I'll be honest with you, those shows, I can't watch them.
No.
They irritate my spirit because I know that's not us. Yeah. We are better than that. And we got probably more fathers that stick around than not. But of course, when we in society and the way we've been conditioned, they make you look at it a different way. So I would never want that narrative to be attached to my name. And this is not saying anything is wrong. We don't have our problems, but I always say, even if for some odd reason me and the missus ain't together, my son will never have to know what it feels like to be without a father.
I'll tell this one story. So an ex of mine, and obviously, in the beginning, like you have all those, scenario questions and getting to know each other or whatever. And the scenario came up, what if you had a kid already and and I was like, I would be over there like helping with homework. I would, be in the lives as any other. And she was like, well, you got to take care. I said, listen, I'll always take care of home, but nothing's keeping me away from, my kids. Period. And I had to look at it like, and if you're going to come in between me and my kids, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
If it's going to be a strain,
that's definitely something you should discuss as you're dating if somebody has a child.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should. And, and like you said, like, you didn't know, like, there were a lot of women that, did, it's like watching the news.
Yeah.
They tell you what you need to hear, whatever that, not what you need to know.
Yeah.
There are a lot of women who leave, who leave their kids, but we always hear about like the deadbeat dad, not the moms to this and the third. So we said like, shout out to all the dads, who go above and beyond and, and do their thing. And for you women out there, please,
not too much,
please, gotta say this. I say it every year on social media. Please sit down. This is not your day.
Oh,
I
was going to ask Anjelie, whose day is it?
I don't have friends like that. Like we don't. Like I said, I know a lot. Unfortunately, a lot of single women. I don't know any single women who want those kudos for being father to.
Yeah, but there are a lot online.
There are a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know any.
I'm the mother.
Yeah,
I'm the mother and the father.
And like I said, my group of friends, I guess I didn't know y'all was that bad. I mean, y'all are an awesome set of friends because I don't know those kind of people.
But you have them, and
I've seen them.
Yeah, and
I've seen them, but they ain't in my circle.
Yeah. And the crazy part about that is, and I will say this I'll say these to the queens with love. When you do that, when you actually say I'm holding it down, we already know that because you are a single mother. I get that, right? But the more and more you put that out there, it's kind of not necessarily to me, but it comes off as a level of disrespect. And I say that because
that's because you're a daddy.
You're
100% daddy.
But in reality,
to those guys that aren't, it don't even roll off their back.
But I say this with more reality to it is, especially if you have a boy, you can't teach him how to be a man.
No, you can't.
You know what I mean? So if you have a boy in your life and you're taking credit for that, it's kind of, and I get it, I understand it, I still love him, but it comes across as a level of somewhat not disrespect because again, you can't teach him right how to be a man. And sometimes how can you, and I don't know unless you bring another man in, how are you going to teach the daughter who she should marry if there's not the father's not there. You know what I mean?
A lot of us don't have fathers, so believe me, we raising men to be men.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm not saying.
Because you have to.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it offends you because you're a real man and you're a father.
Yeah.
Those deadbeat fathers, it don't bother them. We say this. It don't affect them.
Yeah.
The kids out of sight, out of mind. Let her deal.
There you
with
go.
it.
And like ladies, I'll just put it to the women. I'll put it in a totally different way.
Yeah.
Whenever you feel like that you have to come on social media and say like, I'm the mother and the father, you're actually diminishing yourself. You're taking away from who you are and what you bring to the table to prove to everybody out there that you are a quote unquote dad. No, you're a mom.
Yep,
you're a super mom. You go above and beyond in what you do.
But I'm gonna give you the other side so you can see the frustration, the tiredness. A woman that goes up and says that, she's tired. She gets sick, and guess what? She still got to take care of everything while she's sick. So when you see women that do that, hurt people.
Yeah, I get it.
And hurt people gonna respond. And Facebook, half the stuff I see on Facebook, I see, you know what, that person is venting. I can't tell you how many times I done vented on Facebook.
Don't wait till Father's Day to do it.
Exactly.
And it's
Father's Day is not the day.
Right.
It's gonna happen. The same jokes that you see, women will see. Well, she be out in the club. How's she gonna call herself a mother? Okay, can I get a break?
Yeah.
So you're gonna see that from both genders.
I mean,
but to steer away from that, let me tell you about my daddy. So let me I'm gonna steer away from that. The controversial topic.
The topic is Papa's got a brand new brag.
I'm going to steer away from that. So
because I was about to say, I didn't know a lot of these women had kids until it came around to Mother's Day. You don't see it like they don't post their kid. They don't talk about.
I just don't have them kind of friends. I have people that post memes. I mean, I have people that post memes about their friends being backstabbing and stuff.
Yeah,
I don't have that either. Okay. I didn't know y'all. My friend group is awesome. I just want y'all to know if y'all listen, y'all are awesome. But back to my daddy.
All right.
So,
all right, we got about 10. So
another good thing about my daddy. I'm trying to say this without sounding like he was controlling, because he wasn't controlling, but he refused to let my mother work when we were children. And I remember my mom, because he was just an E5 in the military, which is not very high ranking, and he had 3 kids. And, you know, my mom wanted to work. She's from a third world country. She's used to working, and she wanted to work, you know, to bring extra money into the household. And, you know, she asked my dad, well, how come I can't work? And my dad said, because your job is to raise the children. He said, if you get a job, he said, then you have 2 jobs and I have 1 job. He said, ain't no way my wife is going to have 2 jobs. And I sit at home with 1 job.
I dig that.
He said, so no. He says, we're not poor by any means. He said, we're not in abundance of money. He said, but I make do. He said, we're going to be equal here. He said, I go and I work outside the household. You work inside the household. And no woman of mine will have 2 jobs and I just have 1.
I dig that.
And unfortunately, men, the ones that I've dated, this is why y'all ain't coming up to par. Because my daddy said,
we're giving flowers.
You know, my daddy set the bar. So I don't know how to accept less.
No, I get it. And
he set the bar, and I
dig that, and I look at it this way too. And again, I never want to come across to the audience as anything other than a lover of queens. I've said it so many times because I am here because of them, so they'll get all the love and respect that they so deserve. But I will say this: I think in this new era, because I can understand where your father was coming from during that time. But in this new era, I never feel like that when I get home, that it's all her. You know what I mean? When I go home, I still tell people at work, I'm going to get off of this job, but then I got to go do another one. And that's whether that's just a small piece that we don't think about. And this goes for mothers and fathers.
Yeah.
But we're speaking about the Father's Day, the small pieces of, because you know how brash we could be. Sometimes we got to turn off that and be vulnerable. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's tough because your son, you want, or daughter, what do you want? They want to see you tough, but all at the same time, they got to see you break down every now and again. They got to see you be vulnerable to life and so forth and so on, so that they know how. You know, one of the biggest myths that I grew up on was a man ain't supposed to cry.
Oh my God!
Look here, we be watching movies, and if I watch a movie and good things are happening to some people, bloop, it is. And I don't mind that because I want my son to be able to be vulnerable. You know,
a sophomore in high school, and that's because my uncle died. And that was the first time in my life I ever saw my dad. And I came across it on accident. We got the phone call, and I went in the kitchen, and he was standing there bent over the counter, and he was crying because that was his dad.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't allowed to have a dad, in the household growing up. So that was his dad.
Yeah, but that's that generational thing. Like we're taught from birth.
Yeah.
Like basically don't fear anything and never show emotion.
Yeah.
Or whatever. So like, a lot of it deals with a lot of men now who don't know how to express their emotions. What like that. Yeah, now like to piggyback off of that, I'll be sitting and watching a movie and I look at myself like, why am I crying? Where's this
right.
Got it coming from? Yeah. I done seen Titanic 50 million times. Like, I know they died at the end. Why are you crying?
Never let go, Jack. Jack, no, never let go.
Look, that's a whole nother story. Since we giving flowers, they broke this down. It's enough room on that board where he could have got up on there too.
He could have got up on there. We going.
No, you 6'4",
Listen,
that door ain't gonna hold both of us, boo boo.
Listen,
you gonna have to float off.
No. We would have had a baby on that ocean. We had to keep warm anyway. She could have laid on top of me.
You ain't gonna sink my door. You could have sink my door. You're too heavy. Now Ray can get up on the door.
I could.
You ain't gonna be able to get up on the door.
Yeah.
Listen, these are paddles. These
We can make it work.
Like, we can make it work.
All right, so real quick before we get out of here, family, go ahead and give a shout out to my wife and tell her how much I appreciate her sending her message over again. Papa's got a brand new brag, so even though I'm going to read something about myself, not trying to be conceited about it, but hey, she happened to be the only one that sent me the DM or the email. You know what I mean? But first, I want to give a shout out to her father as well, who has since he's also has passed. And of course, we're coming up, I believe, and I could have it wrong, baby, so please forgive me. Year 2 of him not being present for Father's Day, and I know how much she struggles with that because she really had a wonderful relationship with her dad, and so much so that I'm thankful that my son was actually able to see that relationship. So every now and again, he'll just wake up some days and he'll be sad and be like, "What's wrong with you?" "I miss my pawpaw." So that's a good thing. So let me read what she wrote to her
Hold
dad.
on, one quick question.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
How's brother-in-law?
Brother-in-law. I'm sorry. My brother-in-law is doing wonderful. He is another wonderful dad. He coaches his son, Evan. See, I almost left him out, and that I would have been feeling bad, but he just had a quadruple bypass surgery, and he's doing just fine. He's gaining strength every day. Yes, he's home. So shout out to Henry Jackson doing big things, and another wonderful father who has an older son, has Henry Jr., and of course my nephew Evan, and he definitely goes hard for them as well.
That's
so
good.
gotta love
it.
So let me read this about my wife's father, since she was the only one who decided to send an email. How y'all went to sleep on her, brother,
Hey.
but it's fine. All right, so her Father's Day tribute, she says, "My dad was from a different era and sometimes had personal struggles, but I always knew he loved me and was proud of me and my sister. His pride and joy was his grandchildren. I owe so much of my work, effort, and tenacity to my father. I know that he is watching over me, and he's watching over me, and he's watching over my family." So shout out to her father for that. Like I said, another good man. And my wife, I always laugh and joke with it because they from the country. You know what I mean? But that dude, he worked hard, and every day you see him, he always had his overalls on. But he was a hard worker, y'all. He was. So much love to him. And then she says about me, and of course she had to make this one longer, so I got to read through all this, but we'll get through. I love it. She said, "Tribute to my husband." She said, "Women are designed to do it all, and you guys are. Good men and fathers are so necessary to make this work for the current and next generation. A good father is a young girl's first person to understand and how a man should treat her and as a young lady. When it comes to a boy, then a good father is his first hero. Our Raymond, as she puts it, will never know what it feels like not to be a priority from his father or go hungry. His father would move heaven and earth for his son. That gives me a level of peace that is unexplainable. A father's love is a gift." So thank you, baby, for that. I really, really appreciate it. And that is something that I do cherish because, again, my circumstances coming up wasn't even close to where I'm at right now. But that is one thing that my son will never have to worry about, is starving, the lights going off, water bill not being paid, what have you, or not having clothes on his back. So that's something, I take pride and responsibility in. So I'll pass to y'all real quick. Last quick thoughts for y'all too, and then I'll close the show out. So last quick thought on the fathers.
on the fathers to one of the greatest fathers that I work with. I love
Thank
you, Ray.
you. Thank you.
I love you for loving my sister Selena. You came into her life. You were a wonderful boyfriend, fiance, father now, and I'm just blessed to know you. And I love you for Selena. It's so wonderful to have girlfriends that have good men. Because I mean, that means my turn's coming soon. But I love it.
I appreciate that,
Selena. I do. I love you, and you know I love Ray for you. And y'all were meant to be. And I'm so glad that I am in the presence. Like I said, because I don't know any deadbeats, and I'm so glad to be in the presence of good men. That take care of their kids.
I appreciate.
Like I don't have that bad story.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
I mean, as far as me, shout out, like, once again, shout out to all the, all my brothers, friends and, blood, you know, keep doing what you're doing. Y'all inspire me beyond what y'all actually know. When my day comes, have a kid.
Yeah.
I hope to carry on, like, as, the example that y'all set forward.
Yeah.
So.
There it is. Last quick thought I will leave. I see a lot of y'all online, and I appreciate y'all being online and listening into this particular segment. Father's got a brand new brag. Like I said earlier in the show, there's a narrative that's out there that talks about us and makes us look like we're in a bad light, especially when it comes to black fathers. And that's why I'm doing this segment, because I want to change that narrative. Anything I ever do in this world is to change that narrative, because we are important. So don't let them convince you that we are not. It's funny how, if we look in history, hate to go here, but I'm gonna. If you look at history, certain people spent their lifetime trying to get rid of us and put us out the house, but then have the nerve to talk about our kids and say they don't have a dad when they took us out the house anyway, whether that's being locking them up, whether that's being lynched, what have you. That was the narrative. So we need to change that. So I will never be able to fall in love with this idea of seeing a story being told or what have you and not be present. I don't get turned on by those stories. I do in a sense, because I like to see mothers do what they do, because we know we got a lot of mothers out there that have been and grown and raised their kids single parent homes. So I give them all the love they deserve. I really, really do. My mother was one of them. So I give y'all that. It's just that when you look at that, sometimes when it comes around to this particular weekend, the love is kind of minimal. And I say that because, again, I put that video out. I asked for people to send me an email or DM. I'm not mad at y'all. Love y'all to death. But I got with 0 responses whatsoever. And that just not to necessarily prove my point, but it proves my damn point. It is what it is. You know what I mean? We just don't get the same amount of love. And again,
attention span was short.
That is okay. But I want us to change that, because there's so many good men out here in the world doing, like I said, doing the best they can. When we have to look at where we are right now, when we see our young children, our young boys especially, and again, we got our young girls as well being taken out of this life from senseless crimes, whether it be by the police or whether it be by the hands of one of their friends. It's hard out here, because when you start raising these kids right now, you got to send them out into the world. Now we're in a space where I fear that. I mean, right now, my son, even when he goes outside on his scooter, I worry. And that's where we are. We talk about, like Anjelie kind of mentioned, that other job. That's a job in itself, because you have to be able to calm yourself down and be cool with, okay, let them fly. But you know what I mean? But you don't want them to fly too far because you're nervous. You want them to be able to come home. You want to be able to send them to school and they come home to you. So there's so many things that we got going on in our brain that we talk about mental health. But I got to give it up to you fathers, because I know y'all mental health is in question as well, because this is a lot of burden that we carry, but we don't speak out about it, because we are taught to stand up strong, back straight, tough, look a man in the eye, and it's going to be all right. You got to be tough. But I will honestly tell you, I'm one of them. I will sit down at home and I will get to that point to where it actually breaks me down, because I worry so much about my child. Even to the point now, I will just say this. I don't know how y'all feel, how you want to feel. This is just me. But even to the point now, I've made the decision in my life not to even go there with the belt anymore, because to me, it's just this mentality that I don't feel like I need to beat him in order for him to hear me. I talk to him like a man. That's it. When he knows, hey, you know what? Now it's time to have a man-to-man talk. He knows. He knows how to look at me straight, stand straight up, no hands in the pockets. We talking now. And that intimidates him more than a piece of leather. So I've chosen that route for me. It may not work for everybody else.
You there 24/7. You can do that.
It may not work for everybody else, but it will. And then guess what? If I get it wrong, okay. That's just what it is.
There's no handbook on parenthood.
It ain't.
Not at all.
What's going to work. And I want
It
to
ain't.
say a shout out to Cole Bain because godfathers are everything. The uncles, the youth pastors, the pastors, the football coaches, the basketball coaches, all those men that stepped in that you don't have kids and you stepped in because you saw the need. I want to say thank you for that.
Absolutely.
I can't tell you, my village has a whole bunch of men. I got exes, and they came to Olivia's graduation party, and all of them stepped in. And I don't have no bad exes either. I mean, I got two.
You got that one.
I got that one.
I
got that one. But most of the guys that I dated are still in my kids' lives.
Yeah.
I mean, they Olivia wouldn't have a car if it wasn't for the ex.
Yeah.
Alonzo will step up. Oliver has stepped up. I mean, these men have been in my kids' life their whole lives.
Yeah.
And even though we're not together, they're still there for my children. So shout out to all the men that step up and do that father role when there's not a father, because that's important too.
Yeah, and let's not break away from the fact that, us as a village, as a black village, when we were coming up, of course, moms and dads always introduced us to particular male friends and or girlfriends, and we either call them auntie, of course, or TT, whatever, or we call them uncle such and such.
Right.
And I take that fully too, because when regardless of whether they have a father or not, you need to make sure whenever you're in the presence of other kids, still be the man.
Yeah.
Still be the man so they can see it. Be an example so they can see it. Because sometimes, whether we love it or not, some kids, when you're at home and you're under parents, you act a certain way. But when you get away from that, you still need to see another example out in the street so okay, this is real. This is what it's supposed to be. So shout out to all my fathers, man. I love y'all so much, man. So enjoy y'all's weekend. Ladies, do right by them. Please do right by them. Show them that love this weekend and beyond. You don't have to wait on that Sunday to do that,
Don't let it be a commercial weekend.
Yeah, not at all.
364 days.
There you go.
Besides this.
There you go. So, and men, I will say this, from now on, when we're looking at this world, and as I continue to move on, and I've made it a habit of mine, and this is due to a wonderful friend of mine who's also passed now, my best friend, I will tell you, and I think we all should adapt this. Yeah, we men, we tough, we all that, we dudes, whatever you want to be, but never be afraid to tell another man you love him. It's quite simple. Never be afraid to tell another man you love him, man, because they need that. We need that for one another. I promise you that, okay? Yeah. Lastly, Cole, tell them where to follow you, man.
Oh, okay. So on IG, you can follow me at The Real Cole Bain. You spell Cole Bain, ColeBain. On Facebook, it's two, obviously because you need a first and last name. So I just split it up. Cole, first name, last name, Bain.
Yeah.
Everywhere else is Cole Bain 980. ColeBain.com coming soon. Go pick up Bain 8. And obviously the other previous 7, along with little EP I put out beginning of the year. Love Cole Bain. You can catch that on, like I said, Apple, Tidal, Spotify, anywhere where music is streamed, and share it.
There you go, man. We appreciate you coming through, man.
No problem.
And not only coming through and
sharing
your musical genius or whatever, and also your midweek vibe, the thing, and sharing this conversation about fathers, man. I definitely appreciate you coming through, man. We definitely gonna have to have you back. Anjelie, anything else you got?
I want to say, hey, but quick shout out, Daphne, happy birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday. I don't even know she's logged on, but happy birthday
to
my.
See this recording.
Yeah, happy birthday to my big head. Beautiful sister Daphne. We love you very much, Daph. I think she's gone this weekend, so I won't be able to celebrate. I think, but I'll find out. I've been so busy. I didn't have time to call her, but she'll get the love.
Happy birthday, free.
Yeah. Everybody. All right, y'all. So thank y'all so much once again for joining us. Again, happy Father's Day to all my fathers out there who you don't have to get on Facebook and tell people.
Exactly.
You already know you're doing a good job. So therefore, it shows up when you show up in the world. Okay, every father out there, you don't need to get on Facebook and tell them, "Oh, I'm a good dad." We already should know by the way you behave yourself. Okay, and also, of course, it is Juneteenth this weekend. Y'all celebrate like a mug because I don't no longer do the 4th. I will get down this weekend. That's just my personal. All right. So happy Juneteenth to everybody as well. And like always, fam, always remember, faith and doubt are 2 completely different words, but yet they have the same thing in common. And that is they both believe in a future that has not happened yet. So when it all falls down, who you going to ride with? Faith or doubt? We're here at the Red Boy Radio Show. We ride with faith. Love y'all. Peace.
Peace.
Hey, what's up? This is Anthony Hamilton, and you're listening to the Red Boy Radio.
Thank you for listening to the Red Boy Radio Show. We'll see you here next time.